I reckon he comes out hard, comes out fast and aggressive, but I think I'll weather that and then just start to pick him apart and hopefully put him away.
Hi, Robert. How are you doing?
Good, thanks, mate. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good, thank you. Thank you for the time at the start of fight week. But before we get into your fight with Dricus Du Plessis, I want to take it back to about it's 6 years ago now since you had your first headline act in Las Vegas against Yoel Romero at UFC 213. I mean, how would you assess the career since then? Because you've had ups. You obviously became undisputed middleweight champion, and then you've had your downs, but you've bounced back. So, how would you reflect on the journey since then?
I'm very proud of my journey. You know, I'm proud of the athlete that I have evolved into, but more importantly, the man that I've evolved into, and they're directly correlated. So, you know, how I became as a person really impacted how I performed in the octagon. So I'm in a really good place. I'm in a really good place. I believe I've only gotten better since, you know, 6 years ago. I believe my career is still on the up, regardless if I lost the belt to Izzy, because that's just a puzzle to help me grow. That's just an obstacle to help me reach the next level, and I welcome that. But yeah, I'm very happy and proud of where I've come and what I've done.
And talking about pieces of the puzzle to get back to the title, obviously that puzzle piece at the moment is Dricus Du Plessis. What you made of Dricus's run in the UFC? Because I think he's had 5 fights and he's had 4 finishes and been quite impressive, but he's showcased somewhat of an unorthodox style. Like, so what have you personally made of him?
He's a tough dude, and he's a guy that if you don't go in there aware that he's going to turn this fight into a dogfight and that he's going to be in this fight the entire 15 minutes, then you're in a lot of trouble. If you underestimate this guy, you're in a lot of trouble. He's a tough guy. He's got all the skill sets. He's obviously got good instincts to take a victory when he sees it, whether that be in the hands, the grappling, the wrestling. He's a tough stud, and you know, I fully understand that, fully respect that, and that's why I've trained so hard for this fight as I have.
And you mentioned there that obviously the goal is getting back to the belt, and the UFC outlaid plans for going back to Sydney in Australia, and then potentially, if you get through Dricus, to have a trilogy fight with Izzy. How do you put that to the back of your mind ahead of this fight? Because at the top of this, you said that is ultimately your current goal, but obviously you have a fierce contender in front of you.
There's nothing past July 8th exists right now. And that's the truth of it. I have the hardest fight of my career to date on July 8th, and that's all I'm focused on. That's the only thing that's locked in, and I'll worry about the rest after it.
Fair enough. And in recent years, I think that you've been a very complete mixed martial artist, but with each fight, you're showcasing and adding new facets to your game. What do you attribute that to? Just your love of mixed martial arts, your coaching, or what in particular do you attribute that constant evolution?
Definitely, definitely a big part of that is my coaches. My coaches are always pushing me, always trying to push a new edge to my game, and they are definitely the biggest contributors to my growth. Not just as an athlete, but as a person. Okay, because they're both related. Mm-hmm. In terms of my fighting, like I do believe that I am just getting better. I am seeing new things. I'm getting more experience. The challenge that Izzy brought to my career is just elevated me in such a way that I'm just getting better at such a fast rate because of it. You know, and I'm happy.
And I don't mean to go back to Israel right there, but you kind of brought it back to there. You said that you're getting better. In the second fight, you showed great improvements. So would I be right in saying that you believe the third time would be the charm, especially considering when you see that Izzy, the fourth time of getting the better of Alex Pereira, managed to do that?
Yeah, regardless of that, the first fight, I bring Izzy back because he's the only guy I've lost to in the middleweight division the last, decade or so. It's in that first fight with Israel. he took my confidence, and in the second fight with Israel, I took it back. So I look forward to the third fight, whenever or wherever that will be.
Fair enough. And for this portion of the interview, Rob, I know you're going to be doing lots of monotonous interviews like this, so I thought I'd switch it up and have you as on the segment called Ultimate Unknowns. So this is for fans who might not know everything about you and who want to get a better understanding of what makes Robert Whittaker tick. So the first question from this segment is, when was your first ever fight that you can recall? And it doesn't have to be professional. It can be a street fight, and can be fighting with siblings. When was the first fight that you can recall?
Probably back in primary school. The boys circled up and we had like it was a weird sort of fight. It wasn't really a fight, but yeah. I think he punched me, I punched him, got lunch together afterwards, something like that.
Fair enough. It's pretty rare that you get lunch with an opponent afterwards. All right. Next question.
Is it though? I feel like that's how it should be. You know what I mean? I feel like men a lot of the times, a lot of my good friends, I hated at one stage. It's a weird thing.
Oh, fair enough. That's that's interesting. All right. The second question is, if you could choose any fighter from any discipline in any generation to fight, it could be boxing, mixed martial arts, Muay Thai, or whatever, who would you fight?
I don't know. Everyone who asks me this question, I always wonder, like, why? Like, why? I don't know. Who was that WWE guy that came over for a spell?
You mean Brock Lesnar?
Nah, the other one, definitely not him.
CM Punk?
Yeah, him. I'll give him a go, I reckon. I'll give him a go. And maybe jiu-jitsu. Keep it clean.
Fair enough. All right. What's your guilty pleasure?
Video games, for sure.
In particular, what's your favorite video game?
Oh, mate, how long do you have?
I have 10 minutes. I have less than 10 minutes.
I play all sorts of games. My greatest pleasure is probably the roguelikes. So like things like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Rogue's Tale, like those sort of games, Rogue's Legacy. That's my jam.
And if you can recall, what was the moment in your career that you felt the most vulnerable?
Yeah, it would have been probably at the start of COVID or just before it, when didn't really know what I was doing anymore, and I went on that hiatus from fighting. Didn't know whether I'd come back, and that was a tricky period at the time because it wasn't just career based; it was identity based. So I was kind of trying to find myself and not having a firm grounding in who I am. Yeah, left me a little vulnerable.
All right, fair enough. And final question for me, going back to Saturday night. Stylistically, how do you foresee this fight with Dricus playing out?
I reckon he comes out hard, comes out fast and aggressive, but I think I'll weather that and then just start to pick him apart and hopefully put him away.
All right, Rob, thank you very much for the time. As I said earlier, I know you're going to be doing loads of these this week, so I appreciate it. Good luck with the weight cut and everything, and hopefully everything goes well on Saturday night.
Thank you, mate. You've been great. Have a good one.
Take it easy. Bye.